Hi, I'm Connor Carreras as Solutions Engineer at Firebolt, and today we're going to be talking all about databases in Firebolt. So let's start super simple. First of all, what is a database? So fundamentally in Firebolt, you can think of a database as a logical grouping of data. So to illustrate this, I'm going to draw us a very nice database. So here's our database. And inside a database, you can have tables. You can have views. And attached to tables, you can have another object called an index, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a following video. There's a third type of object that is associated with the database, which we call an external table. So an external table is not actually a physical set of data that's stored inside of Firebolt. Instead, you can think of it like a pointer to some external data living on S3. So you can essentially, when you're working with an external table, use Firebolt a little bit like a federated query engine. But going back to the database, in tables that are stored in a Firebolt database, so this section right here, the underlying data is actually backed by physical files in Firebolt's FFF format that we store in Firebolt's storage layer. So you might have remembered from a previous video that storage and compute are entirely separated in Firebolt. So what this means is that your databases can truly be that logical model of how you want your data to look. You don't have to worry about modeling your data and have it be constrained by how you want your compute resources to be set up. Databases in Firebolt are also tightly integrated with our role-based access control. So you can grant user-based permissions to control who can do what with both the database itself and the different objects inside the database. So because databases are really just a logical layer inside of Firebolt, you can do some really cool things with databases. You can set them up to represent different logical use cases. So maybe if you're working with product usage data, you have one database for your product data. Maybe there's another database for the customers, and that's essentially logically separating those types of data. You can also configure databases for different environments. So a lot of our customers use databases for dev, test, prod, QA, and do SDLC between the databases using functionality like create table clone. So now we're in Firebolt, and you can see on the left here, this tab shows all of the databases that we have in this environment. You can see that when we set up this environment, we actually followed the philosophy of separating databases based on use case. So these are 3 different types of use case that we were running in this Firebolt account. So let's say I want to create a new database. Maybe in this case, I want to bring in some data about website visits and clicks. I can do this in 2 ways. First, I could use the UI. So I click the plus icon and then hit create new database. And I'll call this website visits. If I want, I can give the database a description. It's not required, but it can sometimes be useful metadata, especially if you're working in a shared environment. When I create new database, you can see that appears on our list on the left. I can also create a database through SQL. So I will just go ahead and create a database. This time I'll call it Connor Test. Go ahead and create that database. And now, again, you can see that the database shows up in the left sidebar, right here at the top, Connor Test. Now that you've seen 2 different ways to create a database in Firebolt, in a following video, we're going to talk about how you can actually load data into your database. Thanks for watching.